Hello and welcome, I'm SerroDan and this is your guide to soloing Blackrock Foundry on Mythic difficulty. In this video we'll be covering the SlagWorks. Here we have Gruul, Oregorger and the Blast Furnace. Shooting straight into this one we have Gruul, and look how beautiful he is. This fight took me quite a few attempts, but we got there eventually. To take this boss down you must concentrate on your health. You're going to take a lot of damage here. So if you have a pet with taunt, this will help you out a lot. Otherwise, you need good damage mitigation, or an absorption ability. Let's get the main ability over with first. So Gruul will cast Inferno Strike. This is a stacking debuff which will increase the damage of this ability when it comes into play. So if you have a huge amount of stacks, then you're going to really be challenging death. The best way to pass this is to use big mitigations on higher stacks and lots of self heals. But if you have a pet with taunt, you can share the stacks to make it more survivable. But after every hit, you do gain more aggro. So a little trick I done whilst using my pet was to use slow DPS, that way I wasn't gaining too much aggro, so my pet took all the blows. I know, I'm so thoughtful, but it seemed to work. A couple of other abilities to look out for is Overhead Smash. Gruul will target you and attempt to throw you in the air. Be sure to move out of his cone so you're not struck up. The other one is Petrify. This is where you gain a debuff and when it expires you get stunned for a few seconds. Nothing huge, and most of the time it never got in during an encounter. You may also see lots of fireballs rolling around everywhere. These are easily dodged and if struck you obviously take damage, which we're trying to avoid. Every 2 minutes during the fight, Gruul will go on a rampage and run to the center of the room, constantly trying to throw you in the air. Just concentrate on not getting hit. This is the dodging phase. As you can see, there's more fireballs. As long as you're careful with the amount of damage you take and focus your DPS, you will get him down. Simple-ish. On to Oregorger. This is a fun one, lots of rolling around. Not us, but the boss. This boss consists of 2 phases, and they will be repeated. The first one has to be done right, otherwise you may not see phase 2. To complete phase 1, you need to make sure you don't get too many stacks of Acid Torrent, and if you do, you need to manage your damage mitigation correctly and efficiently. If you have a pet, you can avoid it straight off. The way I found not to get hit by this ability is when the Acid Torrent is being cast is to stand directly under the boss. As Clothies, we can't take these big hits. Otherwise, if you cannot dodge it, make sure you use your mitigations when you have higher stacks and keep on top of your self heals. Also through phase 1 you will get targeted by Wretched Blackrock. This will leave a pool of questionable stuff under your feet. Move out of that as soon as you can. When you're in melee range of the boss, you will also see explosive shards. This will spawn on top of you and explode shortly after, which will stun you. Make sure you move away from them. If you're really picky about the amount of damage you're taking or are struggling with your health, then interrupt Blackrock Barrage when they come into play. As soon as Oregorger hits 0 mana, he will enter his second phase. This is where he starts to roll around all over the place, causing havoc. And he will only stop as soon as he hits 100 mana, and we need to help him do this. Oregorger needs to roll over some Blackrock ore. These are located in the hallways of this maze of a battlefield. To get it, so we can absorb it, eat it, or do whatever to it, you need to kill a box, destroy a box, which it's contained in. You can control the directions of which he rolls. You see, he always rolls down the hall where there is some free ore lying around. So destroy the boxes and then move out the way. You don't particularly want to get hit by his rolls. I mean, you will get stunned and you'll take some damage, and you'll be flat. But because this is on Mythic, every time Oregorger collides with the walls, he would drop some unstable slag in their location. If he comes to roll over it again in the future, it will explode and send fire down the halls it has straight access to. Just something else to avoid. When he hits 100 mana, phase 1 will start again, and you just repeat the process, and he will fall to your feet, eventually. Blast Furnace. Oh my, this one was a tricky one. This one can be soloed, technically, by any class, but some classes may have it harder than others. I was one of those. So before I go anywhere, if you want to have an easy fight, be either a priest or a rogue. You'll see why in a moment. So this fight has 3 phases. The first phase requires you to blast the heart of the mountain out of the furnace. Second is to release the heart of the mountain, who is captured. And the third is to kill the heart of the mountain. Poor fella, he is going through a lot. The first phase is completed by destroying the heat regulators on either side of the furnace. And to do this, you will have to get close to them and explode bombs directly onto them. To get the bombs, you will either get them randomly from furnace engineers, or when you kill an engineer, they will drop their sack and you pick up the bombs one by one. It is best to focus one side at a time if you're going to do this a nice clean way. The engineers can also undo all your hard work because they have the ability to repair the regulators. You need to interrupt this as fast as you can if you plan on seeing Phase 2. Whilst destroying the heat regulators, you will have loads of adds and a boss. Clear them off as soon as you can and get rid of the carnage that is going on. The mini boss is really easy to kill too. Amongst the carnage, the guards will occasionally drop shields, which will reduce damage taken off of adds which stand within it. Just move them out of it. Simple enough. As soon as both regulators are destroyed, all remaining adds are coming for you, and they hit. They hit hard. Be fast to AoE them down, and straight on to Phase 2. Now Phase 2 is the hard phase, if you're not a rogue or a priest, that is. Here we need to kill elementalists, which hold down the heart of the mountain. There are 4 of them, but you can't hit them. Why, they've got a shield. You need to move a slag elemental on top of them. This will remove the shield once they die. But because we're on Mythic, it's not that simple. The slag elemental... need to say the whole name of that out, I think. So, a slag elemental has got a shield which reduces the damage taken by 99%. And the only way to remove this shield is to mind control a guard which spawns randomly and use its ability, Slay Elemental, on the slag elemental. Then you want to kill off the slag elemental, then kill the elementalists. And you just repeat this 3 more times. If you cannot mind control them, you've got a long fight. So hurry up, let's get DPS in those slag elementals. There is no time to waste. I mean, at this moment, this is the only way to do this stage, unless Blizzard change it. You never know. Also during this phase, you'll get some adds. They just go down with a bit of cleave. Nothing to worry about. Phase 3, you are fighting the heart of the mountain. This boss does do some heavy damage, so pop all your cooldowns and get him down fast. During this phase, you will have to move around a fair bit because you'll get a debuff mount. This leaves a pool of molten metal under your feet. I mean, ouch. Just hop out of that, I think. Keep on your toes, watch your health, and focus that DPS, and you'll have him down. Or maybe with a little help from a friend. That doesn't really make it a solo. This is very contradictory. But, hey, my DPS sucks at the moment. Give me some slack. And that is the SlagWorks. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to comment, like and subscribe, and if you're interested in soloing more of Blackrock Foundry, find the guides listed in the description. But for now, take care.